My name's Jake. I am in the band Star Student. I do some of the writing, and then I do vocals and guitar.
My name's Luke. I do guitar and vocals in the band Star Student.
My name is Arden. I'm also in Star Student, and I play the drums.
Cool, so what brings y'all to a place like this?
Luke, I think it was like a year ago, was like, oh, it looks like there's some really cool shit going on in Starkville. And I hadn't heard of the town before, but Luke was showing me a bunch of really cool shows that were sick. So we hit you up like last year. You booked us a show, and it was awesome. People showed up like in fursuits, which was like fucking sick. It was killer.
Yeah.
So we definitely wanted to come back as soon as possible. Yeah.
We just thought it was like a nice place to be at. It's different from where we're used to, and it just seems pretty awesome.
All right, cool. So yeah, you're saying it's different than places y'all are used to. Y'all know exactly how, because I imagine y'all are playing like bigger cities on the road, not necessarily.
Kind of a good mix.
Yeah.
We play there's some college towns that we've played at many times that, that we come back to a lot, that we've made some good connections, like Bloomington, up north has been one of our best dates and most enjoyable shows, but we also, we played Waco a few days ago, and it's a small but very dedicated scene out there that, was really, we formed not a reputation, but a connection with them, and, we always love coming back here, so Starkville is just one of those towns that we really enjoy, playing and connecting with the community here.
Yeah, when we say it's different, like we mean not only like geographically, like it's very different from the Midwest where everything's like really flat. There's not a lot of diversity in the nature of the landscape. The South, there's a lot of hills. It's very cool to see. And then also just like from a community standpoint, attitudes are very different. Communication is very different. And one of my favorite parts of tour is seeing differences in communication just like throughout the United States, what that looks like, and connecting with people.
So how would you say like Starkville and like smaller towns like Waco and Bloomington are a lot different from like the bigger cities, since y'all are coming from like Chicago and Detroit?
I would say people are generally more personable. I would say that there's a lot more camaraderie and like goodwill. Like it seems like everyone wants to see everyone win. And that's not to say that people aren't like that in Chicago and Detroit. I just think that that goodwill is maybe more splintered. It's more cliquey, and like people take care of each other, but it's more insular. Whereas somewhere like Starkville or Waco, the scene is kind of one larger community that everyone shows up for.
I would say you kind of touched on this earlier, but just kind of backtrack. So what exactly made y'all want to be in a band and hit the road? I know what some of y'all said was like seeing, new places and differences, but is there anything else that like really drives y'all to not only make music but then, travel with it?
I think just meeting all the new people and like get to like connect with them on a deeper level. Like we just stay in people's houses a lot, and we just like stay up all night and just chat all the time, and it's really fun to like meet people and get to know a bunch of different people from different places that have completely different perspectives and have lived in different places their whole lives. It's so interesting, and it just makes the whole experience worth it. And, like all the hardship is like that's worth it.
And especially from like a musical perspective, like there's nothing more fulfilling as a musician than seeing other people do their craft and all that. Like there's so many ways in which like I've altered my playing because of a drummer that we saw on the road, or I'm sure these two have done similarly. But just like seeing how other people carry themselves and how they perform and how what they're doing with their music is incredibly eye-opening and very fulfilling to just see people doing other stuff than you. So
Yeah, growing up, I always wanted to be in a band, and I didn't have like a good idea of what an independent touring band looked like until I was maybe like later in high school, and then when I moved for college, and I had a bit more time and space to work on that. We started touring like 2 months out of the year, and like Luke said, there's like some hardship, of course, but meeting new people makes it all worth it, and also for me, it's a very cathartic experience to like show my art to new people.
Okay, so being on the road, what's something that you experience and usually take away from it? Because usually some people learn something different after every run. Some people just kind of have the same lesson kind of pounded into them every time they hit the road. Uh, y'all have anything you want to say on something like that?
I mean, I think for the past few tours, the first few ones we did were a lot of, finding our legs and, getting a routine down. But I feel like in the past few tours, it's been a lot of figuring out how we, interact with each other, like socially and, emotionally, and working on that communication and that regulation and, we're all being conscious of the fact that we're all, going to be together in a car for 2.5 weeks, and having that emotional regulation and communication is vital for a good tour and keeping spirits high.
Yeah, long drives can be brutal, but you got to keep your wits about you and your spirits high. You got to communicate with your bandmates, because otherwise shit just sours, and then you get more angry and passive aggressive. So communication is a key for sure.
I would agree with that. Like, communication is a big one, and I am very proud of and grateful for the way that we've been able to communicate with each other, especially as of late. Like, we're all best friends, but it's hard sometimes to just like remember that by default when you're in stressful situations. One other lesson that I've learned on the road is that nobody really thinks about you as much as you think about yourself. And for someone who's, what I would say, I'm pretty self-conscious, that was a big one for me. I think that as a band we've been really hard on ourselves in the past for mistakes or for missteps, and we're like, oh fuck, that was so embarrassing. But in reality, people aren't going to remember that you fucked up a riff once. They're going to remember how nice you were. They're going to remember how well you engaged with people, and how kind of a presence you were.
Now, with all this, do you think it helped you grow as not only musicians but people, just to be out on the road, meeting everybody? I know it seems like kind of an obvious answer, but you'd be surprised on how some people just really don't think of it whenever it is their actual career to be on the road or a band.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Luke touched on this a bit. The people that we've met and the experiences that we've had and the places that we've been has been one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I assume I know it's theirs too. And it's going through all this and meeting all these new people and going on the road and putting in the effort. It's impossible for it not to have an effect on you and how you see the world. And so in meeting a lot of these bands and a lot of these people, you get a lot of different experiences, and you get more of a sense of what not only the community but the country is about. And 2/3 of this band is trans, and it's been the first time we went down south, it was definitely nerve-wracking. I had never been to Texas before, and we'd never been down south to Mississippi, and so there was a very stressful experience going into it. But seeing all these people and seeing the community that's here and how welcoming and how open they are, it definitely changed my view on the community and America as a whole.
And do you think this changes your perception of your own community whenever you get back home, just because of how different some places are? Like, sometimes it can make you a little bit more grateful, or sometimes just get an appreciation that stuff like what you're used to can be accessible outside of it.
I would say that touching on places like Waco or Starkville that have a very unilateral support system, that's something inspiring that I want to bring back energy-wise when I get back home. So I take that as a lesson, and then also it does make me appreciate the familiar in general more, because when you're cut off from what is familiar to you for a couple of weeks, it's just nice to get back into a routine. So I'd say it's both and, for sure.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, just to get back onto stuff for the road, have y'all had any interesting experiences so far? And I mean, not just for this run, but in runs in general, of some stories you would like to tell of anything crazy or stressful or just funny?
Banana slug.
Oh fuck.
banana slug?
I forgot about the
Banana
banana
slug.
slug, dude.
Okay, so a short one is that. There's a short one and a long one. Short one is last month we drove down to Philly Cheesecake to play Austin, Texas, which was really awesome. Shout out Tiny Sound, shout out Matt. And we kind of did it in almost a straight shot. We just played one show supporting Stereosity on the way down there in Oklahoma City. And we were driving really late at night through Tulsa, like in between Tulsa and OKC. And it was 1 a.m. and there was just this like giant flaming semi-truck on the side of the highway. And everyone was okay. There was like no casualties or anything. But it was one of the craziest fucking omens I've ever encountered in my life. It was just like toppled over, engulfed in flames. There was just like a dude sitting on the street, like the cops hadn't even gotten there yet. And we stopped we stopped at a fucking Waffle House. Like,
Oh yes.
so it was directly after Waffle House. So we had maybe missed the crash itself by 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was fucking crazy.
And then like a week later, we were in Memphis and we saw some bushes by a gas station just completely engulfed in flames.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of shit on fire on the store. I don't really know why.
That's never happened before.
It's kind of freaky. But so far, like, nothing terrible has happened, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
The longer one is we toured the East Coast last year, and it was in August, so we were like, oh, we have an off day in upstate New York. Let's camp that night. So we brought a tent with us. It was a 3...
You want to tell this story?
Yeah, it was like a 6... It was like... It's called a Camp Dome 6 from REI. It's supposed to fit 6 people. That shit does not fit 6 people.
Barely
6
fits
very
3.
close friends.
Yeah, 6...
Barely
And
3.
let me tell you, we were very close.
6
that
very intimate friends
We-
could sit in that.
We had no
in that.
choice.
night. Camping otherwise was awesome, but we just had one queen-sized air mattress, so we all slept on the queen-sized air mattress. Arden was in the middle, and let me tell you, I'm a cuddler. So I was grabbing handfuls the
That was-
whole night while I was asleep.
That was
I'm a
the worst,
snorer.
the worst night's sleep I had ever gotten.
Yeah, I'm a snorer. Jake's a cuddler.
You were also grabbing something.
Okay.
We were getting, yeah. And after that, we packed up, we got ready to go, and shortly after, the car started to smell bad. And we didn't know why.
Pretty bad.
Like, pretty fucking
Like
bad.
rotting.
yeah,
and we
like
thought-
something was rotting.
We thought maybe we left food in the car. Like, we're usually good about keeping a clean car, but, you know, sometimes something falls behind a seat, or you forget about something, so we clear out all the trash. I think we fucking, like, wiped the car down even somewhere. We sprayed it clean, because we were like, is it coming from the outside? And then the smell just keeps getting worse
And worse.
and worse.
And
And
worse.
we don't really have time to like fully take care of it. The next stop we have is Maine, and we're staying in the same place for about 2 days. So we air out the tent completely in the sun. We dry it. We put it away, and it still smells like shit. And we don't know what's going on. So we get to our friend's place. Shout out Miriam Mel in
Yeah,
DC
yeah.
of Pretty Bitter.
Pretty bitter.
And we're like, we need to fucking figure out what's going on with this tent. And they're on like an apartment, so they just have a small
high-rise
balcony.
apartment.
They're like the 6th or 7th floor.
Yeah. So we just
The
we
big-ass
grab the tent, we bring it inside. It literally smells like fucking death. We'd have no clue what's going on. We take it to the porch, we unravel it, and we find that a banana slug had crawled in
It was like
to the
this
lining
big.
of the tent right before we folded it up, and it had been rotting there for like a
fucking
solid week.
Rancid.
A solid week.
It was so gross. We had to like scrub it off because it left a decomp stain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a decomp stain
it was
on the tent.
really bad.
And we just, we took it off. I think we used like Mr. Clean's like magic eraser and some scrubbing bubbles.
We used like
Even
a
then, I don't
scrubber
think
thing.
I don't think it fully removed it.
No. Well, the smell disappeared, but there is like a slug-shaped stain
Yeah.
on the tent.
That's
so
forever ingrained.
that we borrowed from my mom, by the way. So
Yeah.
sorry,
a really
Mom.
expensive,
Yeah,
nice
sorry.
tent.
Yeah.
Sorry, Maria.
With a dead banana slug in it. Sorry.
I would never thought they would smell that bad.
It
Since
was
it's like,
rancid.
so
reek,
bad.
dude.
okay,
It was like
good
one of the
to
worst
know.
smells I've ever experienced,
Well-
and we just were driving with it for like a week.
And banana slugs, like, they're not small. They're literally like
Yeah,
it was like
huge.
7 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a
Sizable.
7-inch slug.
It was a huge slug. It,
It
just
was fucked
crawled
up.
into it when we were sleeping.
I vividly remember at Mel and Miri's place, y'all unfurling that, and I had like the window open to the balcony, and I fucking gagged.
Yeah, it was really
It
gross.
was fucking awful.
So those are our recent tour stories, I would say.
All right. Well, that does. One of those sounds a lot more unfortunate than the other for y'all.
Just seeing shit on
Yeah.
fire, yeah.
Seeing-
It's pretty tame, honestly.
Yeah. But do y'all have like anything you'd like to say? Like, I wouldn't say like inspirational, but anything you would like to say to your future selves, or maybe like people who are thinking about it, or people who have done tours in the past. Just anything you want to get off your chest that you feel like other people haven't said before.
If you want to do it, then do it. Do it. It will change your life for the better. You will experience something new. There's no reason not to do it.
I second that. Tour has never been like a, for us, the band has been lucky enough to, always break even on tours and whatnot, and we've had some success, but like it's never been like a good, financial decision personally for any of us.
Yeah, we're
But-
always like a little out of pocket
but-
for some stuff.
Yeah, but there's no better experience in your to truly experience life and whatnot than touring, regardless of if it's obviously within reason. But if you're worried about money or whatnot and you're on the fence about it, I would say go for it. There's no richer source of experience and knowledge and life-changing events than touring.
Yeah, if you can do it and still afford to live afterwards, then definitely do it. Just be nice to yourself, be kind to the people around you. That's the most important thing. Like, you can play the world's worst set, but if you're like showing up genuinely and actually care and give a shit about the scene and the people around you, then people will respond well even if they hated your set. So,
Yeah,
and we've had a few of those.
those are terrible fucking sets.